Hey everybody, this is Inform the Confused. I'm Alan,
I'm Nick.
and today we are continuing reacting to Star Trek Discovery.
Thoughts so far? We're one episode in. I know you were very reticent about the series.
I like the story so far. It is a traditional Star Trek story.
It's got a lot of plot. They had very good writers working on this,
Yeah,
regardless of the stumbling blocks that they had to get over. They had really good writers.
no, I like the story so far. I like Michael. I like the captain. If I had to pick a favorite character right now, I like the captain is the one I'm most interested to see more of.
She is fun. She
I
is
like her.
fun.
I know you're just crazy over the science officer, Saru.
Saru has not done the things I love him for yet, but the
Okay.
longer you see Saru, the more you'll just be like, it's just a lanky fucking version of Nick. Holy shit.
I will say the first time I saw him, he immediately rubbed me the wrong way, but by the end of the episode, I was on board.
Oh, so it's exactly like how you met me.
It took longer than 45, 50 minutes though with you.
Well,
But
I don't have an entire prosthetics department backing me. I'm one man.
that being said, the Klingons still look like nothing like Klingons. The Klingon ships are absolutely horrible. They shouldn't be wearing those bloody uniforms. The phaser rifle she uses in the well is not what that should bloody look like.
Wow, gloves off.
Yeah, no, well, I said all this last
Just
time,
go to town.
but this is all I've given. But yeah, like I told you before we started recording, if this were an audio drama where all I was doing was listening to the story,
You'd be
I'd
right
be
there.
down because I wouldn't have to deal with the horrible visuals. But
Just wait till Tilly shows up, and then you'll be real glad it's a visual medium.
I will say, did I catch in there? There's almost like a droid crewman or something like that.
Oh yeah,
Like
there's
like a robot crewman?
There's somebody who's they're either fully synthetic or they're from a species that envelops a lot of prosthetics into them.
Yeah, I noticed something like that.
No, she's a member of the bridge crew. She's around for ages.
Okay.
And she's also not the only modified member of the crew. As time goes on and as the conflict with the Klingons boils down, because there's a couple of time skips.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's war. People get hurt. Prosthetics are a thing. Which is also something that I've always kind of wondered about in Star Trek because, yeah, you guys clearly have gene therapies. Like if someone loses an arm, you could regrow just a clone arm. You don't have to grow a whole body. You guys have the technology. But at the same time, that's got to be ludicrously expensive. A mechanical arm's got to be cheaper. And we're already knocking on the door of that technology. There's no way they don't have it.
Well, DS9, Nog loses a leg,
Yeah.
and it's a artificial prosthetic leg, but it's a leg using his own genetic material.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
Like,
they cover this. They do stuff like this. Yeah, there is no such thing as expensive.
True, but you get my point though. Like,
Well,
all
that's not
those things
entirely
of,
true, but
there's got to be multiple solutions to these problems,
Yeah.
and we've only seen the nth level absolute maximum that can be done.
Well-
You don't see any of these There's never a triage in Trek. At least not long term. It never feels like anybody has to deal with the implications of anything that long.
I mean,
I
yeah,
think
Nog
that's
is
just
really
more
the
Trek,
biggest.
but-
Yeah, well, I mean, Geordi and his visor is the closest thing there. Though that's a birth
But then
defect,
he,
not
but then
a.
he gets those sick ass eyes in the movies.
Yeah, but there's still robotic. There's still implants, though. It's still mechanical. Anyways, we are way off topic. I mean, it's Star Trek,
well,
but yeah.
I'm excited. I'm glad that you're invested. I was genuinely worried that after one episode, you'd just dig your heels in and be like, "It's not the Trek I wanted,"
It's not the Trek I wanted, but I'm going to keep watching it.
but it's the Trek you need right now.
I mean, given the fact that there isn't any other Star Trek on right now, I guess yeah. But
No,
Oh.
the Trek we deserved was Enterprise. Space Monkey Tucker.
God, that show should have gotten more seasons.
See?
It really should have. It really should have. The Romulan War should have been a thing. I swear. But that's a whole nother.
Well,
I will say, just so audience is aware, If you watched our episode 1 reaction, it was a lot more me and Nick having an argument while the video played in the background. We kind of lost control of that one.
All right, either I fundamentally do not understand reaction commentary, or like
When the discussion is not about what's on screen at the moment, that's not a reaction.
fair.
I did go back and rewatch the episode by myself while I was fully paying attention and not engrossed in side conversations. So, did pick up on what actually happened last time.
Loved it.
I mean, I enjoyed it more than I did last time because I actually, paid attention. But, anyways, all right, let's go on to number 2 here. Let's see.
Alan, making the argument for not sharing media with friends. Love you, buddy.
I do like the hand faces. I will say that. The hand faces look pretty good. Ba-ba-bum. Seven years
the
earlier.
Only one who's bothered by the fact that the Vulcans wear like wizard robes. Like they're this hyperlogical species. They're incredibly advanced. It's fucking tunics and wizard robes.
They are a very spiritual, mystic people.
Logical for pants.
Okay, I will admit, pants are illogical. Pants are deeply illogical. I love Vulcan insults. No, this meets expectations. There were none. Fuck y'all.
Nobody does passive aggressive like a Vulcan.
I know, it's great. I mean, and she's not even a
All right,
Vulcan.
all right,
She's
let's-
appropriating.
Yeah, let's.
Do you know what their dialogue, honest to God, reminds me of? I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's just 'cause, like, I've only seen the movies.
Yeah.
It feels very Kirk and Spock.
I assure you that's intentional.
It's as cat and mouse as it can possibly be, and I love it.
It's a captain with what passes for a Vulcan science executive officer. They're mimicking Kirk and Spock.
You know, I know you're not a fan of the uniforms, but I really do like these. I think they look sharp
All right.
as hell.
If these were uniforms for a different era we never seen before, I wouldn't have a problem with them.
I think they look
they're good.
fantastic.
They are good Star Trek uniforms. They just don't belong in this era.
See, the only thing I'm not a fan of is like the half collar. That's the only thing where I'm like, what?
That is weird. I noticed that on my rewatch, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pull that shit. That's about what happens. I'm a little surprised she got up from the nerve pinch that quickly.
One of the things that I want to give this series just full and complete credit for, like in other series, anytime like there's a plot point where one of the criticisms is like, all right, Starfleet's a pseudo-military organization. There's a chain of command. There are protocols. X, Y, and Z could not happen in any reasonably run ship. This is one of those moments. No, you don't get away with stunning your commanding officer. It doesn't matter what the fuck your excuse was.
I will say, while the intro is playing here, this is another part of it where when I first saw it, it grated me.
I
But
actually really like this intro.
it's growing on me. Every time I see it, it is growing on me.
I think it's a good mix of complex and minimalistic because there's not actually a ton going on here, but at the same
And
time,
I want to ask you, what do you think of the Enterprise name? Opening.
You mean the opening to Star Trek Enterprise?
Yes, the Star Trek Enterprise opening. Yeah,
It's been a long way one.
yeah, that one.
Hate it with a passion.
I don't understand why people hate that. I love that intro.
It's too slow and lethargic. Here's the thing. They went with like sort of a folk thing for that, and I'm okay with folk. I like folk, but I want something I can dance to. I want hootenanny folk music.
Oh.
That's like crying into your dinner folk music.
Well, no,
because your wife
I think
left
it's
you on the same day
inspirational.
your dog died after your truck refused.
I find it
Like,
inspirational, with this combined with the imagery montage.
Like you can't tell me this shit ain't Klingon as fuck.
Oh yeah, again, the dialogue's working.
I get that you don't like the aesthetics, but like, this is such good lore.
Yeah, no. It's
His voice is silly. Yes. He says deeper, more authoritative, more angry. He sounded like he was whining.
okay. So they're claiming this guy invented the cloaking device. Is that what I just heard?
I was not looking at the subtitle. I'm sorry. I'm bad. All I know is that he has it. I forget how he got it.
I mean, the reinforcements have arrived.
What is Destiny but a big fleet?
I find it hilarious that in every single sci-fi thing, like action, like thing with ships, there's always one called the Jaeger.
He has a point when you look. There is a way of looking at the Federation.
I'm not a fan
It's
of
always been-
colonizers, and the Federation, at the end of the day, is a colonial force.
Not really, but there are other issues. But
They do a lot of things. Like I'm painting with a very broad brush here, but I don't think I'm going outside the line.
they're not colonizers. But there is a sense of what's the term? Oh God, a savior, sort of a savior complex.
Yes, absolutely.
That definitely exists in the Federation. Well, there are people who did like the show. Mostly people who aren't hardcore fans. Because they don't care about the lore and continuities.
This part's fucking brutal.
All right, let me see. Oh,
Poor bastard.
yeah.
Of all the ways to die in sci-fi, getting spaced, I truly feel is the worst.
It's up there.
Like it does something to you to watch.
Sympathetic resonance.
That'll
Yeah.
buff right out. That's fine. That's just a scratch. That'll buff right out. No one will even notice.
You're damn right I'm disappointed.
The slow gain of disdain on Sarek's face as the camera pans, the eyebrows just slowly twitching farther downward. Vulcan.
Whispering sweet Sergei things into his ear.
Sarek is really good in this.
I'm middling on him right now. See, that's not a bird of prey. That looks like a semi-spherical bat of prey.
That's not as catchy.
Oh. Tractor beam. Yep. The Europa.
Klingon envoys are always the best. See, this is also something I always questioned why more people didn't do back in the day, because, like, just build a icebreaker in space. How hard could it possibly be?
Actually, pretty freaking costly. Like ships that have one use and then are lost are extremely resource heavy. There's a reason ramming did not survive into the modern age as a primary battle tactic. Hold on.
Out-logicked a fucking machine!
That Vulcan teaching there for you.
Yeah, like, if there was any question as to whether or not she is also a certifiable badass, this answers this for the record. definitely emotional, without question.
Yep. Ah.
They'll buff right out. They're fine.
So we've come back to the snapping head off of the neck plan.
Yeah, that's the Vulcan goodbye.
Ooh, going for the skull crush.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh.
There's a reason for that.
So much for getting to know the captain more.
Plot twist.
That's a pretty big event for an episode 2. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, mine's on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I will say about the minute she started talking about taking the torpedo over there by herself, something did click in my head about remembering that hearing that the captain wasn't around for very long and the ship wasn't around for very long, the original ship, and then eventually that's how they end up on Discovery or something like that.
I will say.
I had no idea how, but
I will
that
say this
seemed
much.
familiar.
You liking Captain Georgiou is good, simply because there's a lot of flashbacks, there's a lot of setups throughout this. There's a lot of this and that going on. That actress isn't done. She's still on retainer in season fucking 2. Like, no, it's not done. There's still more of that captain. You'll get to enjoy her.
Yeah. No, this was another good episode. This is one where, like, in terms of the basic story, solid.
Yeah, like the idea is good. You're here for the story.
Yeah. The story is good. I'm enjoying that. It's when it comes to the Star Trek lore and canon stuff that I have my problems. For instance, I'm almost 100% sure he said he found a way how to make their ships cloakable.
I didn't catch the exact line of dialogue when you asked. I'm sorry. I'm gonna end up rewatching.
I'm
to
almost
make
positive.
Sure.
I'm almost positive that's what he
It's one of those
said.
things, to my understanding, wasn't it the Romulans who developed the ones that the Klingons use?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a exchange of technology between the Romulans and the Klingons. The Klingons gave them D7 type ships, and the Romulans gave them cloaking technology. That happened about at least 10 years after this show was supposed to be set. So that completely, if that is the case, if I heard that correctly, that completely breaks canon.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. There's also like 3 recognized forms of stealth tech in the Star Trek world.
Not like
Because there's the Romulans. I could have sworn the Borg could do it, and then wasn't there one
No,
from
not the Borg.
Voyager out in the Gamma Quadrant that also goes invisible?
that was Delta Quadrant,
Or,
but
sorry, Delta.
I don't think not that I can think of off the
I
top
could
of my
have
head.
sworn the Borg had cloaking tech.
No,
They just didn't
the Borg
use it
don't.
9 times
The Borg
out of
don't
10.
use cloaking tech. Quite frankly, they usually don't need to.
Well,
That's the
kinda my
point. I mean, they have access to it. They've assimilated enough species, including the Romulans and Klingons, that have it. Again, they just have no need to use it. But no, the Romulans and the Klingons are principally the 2 races that use cloaking technology. There might be some like minor, like one-off episode races that have some sort of similar cloak tech that I'm just not pulling out of my head right now.
At
But
the end of the day, from like a physics standpoint, all you actually need to do for that is bend light, and they have like technology
there's
that
more
can
to it
do
than that. Well, there's more to it than that. That's the basic version of cloak. The other thing is, though, there's a lot of other like engine emissions and engine or reactor radiation that has to be masked.
Dark on a sub is like no, I'm talking like just the basic idea of a stealth.
Oh, yeah.
fancy.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking like for a writer's room MacGuffin type of thing, like a throwaway episode thing, like the grander concept.
Yeah, no, like
I do get where you're coming from though, because like when we were playing that one shot at con, like wait. We're getting cloaking tech. All right, who we get it from? Because you're not describing Romulan relations right now, sir. Where's the Romulan overseer? They don't let the Federation take these.
No, but I mean, ultimately, all cloaking tech that is generally used in Star Trek is originally of Romulan origin, because the Klingons got it from the Romulans, and when the Federation, the illegal cloak tech that the Federation gets, with like the Pegasus, is based off of those designs, presumably. I don't think they developed it independently. They might. I don't know. That one might be an independent project. But then certainly when the Defiant gets cloaking tech, that is a Romulan. That is a loaned Romulan cloak.
They are very explicit about that, and that they don't get to keep it. They bent over backwards when they took it out to establish that it can't cloak anymore, right? All 37 cast members have said it can't cloak anymore. Why is anyone still asking?
Yeah. Well, they never actually take it out. They just stop. I mean, at one point they kind of just start using it when it's like there's no Romulans around to see it, so we're going to use it. Every once in a while.
How I feel the universe should be. Does anyone see the Tal Shiar? Nope. Let's
do
it.
Yeah, and then the Defiant goes boom.
Although
and the new one doesn't have it. But
Alan, let's talk real for a second. If you see the Tal Shiar, how fucked are you? If you don't see them, you might be okay.
If you see the Tal Shiar, you're either probably dead already, or they're trying to recruit you.
Yeah, that's not. I don't foresee the latter.
Really, realistically, if you see, well, it depends. It depends on who you are. If you're a non-Romulan and you see the Tal Shiar, something is wrong, because you shouldn't see the Tal Shiar, even if you're dead. If you are a Romulan, well, that just means your life is about to get infinitely more difficult.
But to the species
but,
at
yeah,
hand, though, something that I'm actually curious about your take on, and I'll be asking this repeatedly throughout, just because, like, you're my big link into Trek. Like, I'd seen a little bit before I met you, but you're the reason I've watched the bulk of it. Like, this to me seems to immediately lean on the Vulcans, which a lot of series do at the start. They'll just start randomly talking about shit with Vulcans and then immediately move past it. This show, like,
most of them have a Vulcan character.
no, it's not even to that extent. It's like, for instance, Enterprise opens with Vulcan relations.
Yeah. Vulcans are very, very, very important in Enterprise.
Yeah, what is it?
More so than the others.
DS9 starts with them hosting a conference as the station's handed over, and they've got a Vulcan diplomat.
No.
Don't they? Like, it always seems like there is a early plot line that heavily involves Vulcans to just sort of throw you into the.
They're like Klingons. They're like Klingons. They're a very commonly used race because of their popularity.
Well, the thing is, like that's just it. They're popular, but I feel like we get a lot of surface level stuff. I feel like this series overall spends a lot more time with the Vulcans than anything else I've seen.
More than Enterprise. More than the 4th season of Enterprise.
I don't remember a ton of the 4th season.
All right, there's an entire arc that takes place entirely on Vulcan, and it deals with the Vulcan internal issues.
Yeah, I didn't watch those episodes.
All right, okay, then yeah, your assessment is off because they really get into Vulcan shit in Enterprise.
I still feel because I've seen all of DS9 and Next Gen.
DS9 barely touches on the Vulcans at all.
I have seen enough other Trek that I can say I've seen the majority of Trek.
Yeah, I think
I'm allowed to have an opinion.
I believe DS9 has less Vulcans on it than any other.
Well, DS9 was also kind of like different by design.
Yeah, I mean, Voyager had Tuvok. Obviously, the original series had Spock, and Next Generation didn't have a permanent Vulcan character, but they dealt with Spock and. Well, they dealt with Spock and Sarek and some other Vulcan characters.
They transported Sarek, 4 times?
They transport him once.
Time he had the anger issue?
Well, the one time they transport him, I think, is the one. Yeah, is the one where he has the emotional issues. When you get to the arc where Spock is on Romulus, Picard goes to see him.
You know, it's going to be really fun if this series works for us. All the diehard Trek fans that are just going to hate my guts for being a casual fan and just agree with you implicitly. Oh, this is going to be fun. I get to piss off people other than you for a change. This is exciting.
But, I mean, getting back to the topic at hand, like I said, the story is definitely interesting at this point.
And to be clear, like, all we did is we got through the setup. We've watched episode 1 and 2, which is supposed to be. And
I will say, you've given me enough to set me up here. Any more, and I think you're going to start delving into spoiler territory. You may have already a little bit, so you've hooked me. You've sold me. We're going to watch this. You don't need to push the sell anymore.
All I had to say was, like, from here on out, it's all a new ship. It's all a new cap. Everything from here on out is new. The lessons that we just learned, they apply to Michael and no one else.
Okay. Well, just like you were talking about, like there being a whole episode where it's just in a mind meld.
Yep.
I didn't need to hear you say that. That's
okay.
Let me experience that as it happens.
See, I don't feel like that's saying anything when it comes to Trek. Like if you say there's an episode of Trek where there's some sort of science mishap and a misunderstood creature breaks loose, several people get hurt, they try to kill it, but then they gain a greater understanding of it. That is a third of Star Trek?
Yeah, well, an entire
Roddenberry formula?
That is the Roddenberry formula, basically.
That's the Star Trek formula. Let's not get into Roddenberry. Let's not go there.
How many green women do we get to add? Can it be all of them?
I mean, I don't know. We have room for all of them, but
Pauses for green women.
I mean, there's always room for at least a couple of green women in Star Trek. It's Star Trek.
There's enough room for as many Orions as they tell me there's room for.
I mean, if you put them head to foot and really stack them in there.
All right, I've completely gotten lost in this joke or analogy or whatever.
Stacking Orion pirates like cordwood.
I don't even know if this is an analogy, a euphemism, a joke. I don't know where we're at now anymore.
2021, the thirstiest year in mankind's history, and
Oh.
we're talking about Orion slave girls. What? No, this is par for the course, sir. Welcome
Anyway.
to the fucking internet.
Yeah, no, but again, like overall, the episode basically the same as I had for the other one. You know, they're fucking around with the lore in ways that I refuse to accept as having anything to do with actual Star Trek canon, but it's entertaining. I'm engaged.
Would you be less annoyed if like they continued this as a separate continuity?
Absolutely. I would have started watching this from the beginning if they had told me that this was part of a reboot, that it had nothing to do with original Trek, and they were starting from scratch. I would have been all over this shit. Because at that point, you can do what you want with it. This is your version of the Klingons? Fine. You're not messing with the Klingons in the other continuity. This is a new thing.
I hope we get to have this conversation again in like 5-10 years with a follow-up series, and we both get to laugh about how worked up everyone was when, no, it's just an update and a change for a new age.
We'll see.
I'm genuinely optimistic. I hope you're going to enjoy this.
About the same time we had the conversation about how it was so silly to think that the Star Wars fandom would never embrace the sequels.
Well, after we elected the first Jedi president and was immediately assassinated by their Sith vice
that's
president,
the thing.
Some things happen. I mean, the fact that becomes holy law at that point, of course we love them. We have to love them.
See, that's the thing I do like about this whole experience here is because a lot of the issues I have with this are things I've heard you and Bill complain about new Star Wars, and to see you so mellow about it in the way that I'm mellow about new canon in Star Wars, and it's just flipped on its head. It's just interesting.
I mean, I know it's amazing you can be so wrong like that, but I mean, nobody's perfect, bud.
Though admittedly, I like to think I'm a lot more not necessarily chill, but I'm less. What's the word? Just like I apparently experience far less despair over the existence of Star Trek Discovery. Like I get mad and irritated by it, but it doesn't like completely suck the fandom out of me over this topic. The way it kind of seemed to have done for you in Star Wars.
Not me screaming at the second Gundam movie. They're just shoving a pile of rocks on Ryu and flying off. They're not burying him. Ryu doesn't get a funeral. Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. In case you hadn't noticed, we have some strong opinions in this group about certain fandoms.
Passion. That's what we have. Passion.
Well, that's what we got to rely on is our passion, because Lord knows we don't have talent.
We can't lean out too hard, because otherwise then we're just going to have restraining orders, so...
Balance in all things.
May the Force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Have you seen what 70 looks like? No.
For a Vulcan? The paw is like...
Do I look like a Vulcan, or do I look like a fat American who's probably going to have cardiac issues?
You're also not a Force user.
That you know of.
Well, if you can secretly be a Force user, you can also secretly be part Vulcan.
No. The ears, man.
There are ways around that.
I don't wear headbands. That worked in the 80s and never again. At no other point in men's fashion was the headband
I was thinking more along the lines of when you were born, your parents just thought they were a gross deformity and had your ears surgically altered as a baby. Tell me your parents would not have done that.
He's not logical enough for that. He's not logical enough to have Vulcan blood.
I mean, in all fairness, I was technically born with a physical deformity, which was surgically fixed at a young age, but it was at like
the tongue
82.
thing, right?
Yeah, I was born tongue-tied. Yeah, as a result, I really couldn't speak when I was little. Like, I had to relearn how to talk. I had to go through a lot of speech therapy. I still have a little bit of a lisp, but I do my best to enunciate, and people tell me I have a nice speaking voice, so I guess it worked.
Yeah.
If I ever want to, like, learn how to play trumpet, like something with a small mouthpiece that you really have to, like, tongue for stuff, like, I'd probably have to have it done again, because, like, it grows back, but I'm good.
Yeah.
They did it when I was 2, and it seems to be holding well.
Yeah. So let's see. I think that's pretty much it for episode 2.
Excited for the next one?
I am intrigued. I want to see the next one.
I'm
waiting
very
for it.
excited for the next episode.
Looking forward to it.
The next episode is where the series like starts.
Yeah.
So every series has a 2-part opener, and none of them are good ever. I don't care what the show is. The first arc is never good.
I like Voyager and DS9's opening arcs.
Oh, don't get me wrong. You can like them, but then when you compare them to anything later on, they're always dog shit.
They're not as good as the later Star Trek tends to get better as it goes on.
Oh, yeah, and that's just it. We've gotten all of our setup. From here on out, we just get to go. And I
will admit, Star Trek is notorious for its like first and second seasons being kind of rocky before it picks up. Like peak DS9 is like seasons 5 and 6.
That doesn't start till like 3-4 seasons in.
4.
They're not even sure what direction they're going.
When Worf shows up in Way of the Warrior and they start dealing with the Klingons and that's really when DS9 really takes off. But yeah.
I've been Nick.
I am continually Alan.
Watch us on YouTube. Check us out on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify for the podcast if we ever get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Twitter at InfoConfused on Twitter.com. Like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the things. Feed the algorithm so we can keep feeding you guys content.
Hit the bell for notifications. See more of our stuff. We are Informed and Confused.
Live long and prosper.
Later.